My name is Pam Willis. I'm 29 years old, a product manager at a mid-sized tech firm, financially stable, emotionally consistent, and according to my ex, boring. That's what I learned right before my 3-year relationship quietly collapsed. There were no raised voices, no slammed doors, no spectacle for anyone to gossip about later. Just absence, just erosion, just a realization that arrived months after it should have, when the damage was already complete. 3 full years of my life didn't vanish because I failed to love hard enough, but because I gave my steadiness to someone who treated stability like a convenience, something to lean on and discard without guilt. I own my apartment downtown. It's modest, 1 bedroom, clean lines, soft light in the mornings that makes the space feel calm instead of lonely. I bought it 2 years before I ever met Ethan Cole. Nothing extravagant, nothing flashy, just solid and intentional, like most choices I make. Ethan was 27 when we started dating, and he had a presence that naturally drew attention. Easy smile, quick wit, the kind of charisma that filled a room without effort. We met through mutual friends at a rooftop birthday party. I remember him leaning against the railing, drink in hand, telling a story that had everyone laughing. I was standing just outside the circle, listening more than talking, like I usually do. Somehow, by the end of the night, he was sitting beside me instead, asking questions that went deeper than small talk, and actually waiting for the answers. I didn't recognize it at the time, but that should have told me something. He liked quiet women when he needed grounding. In the beginning, we fit. I had structure. He brought energy. I planned. He improvised. I built foundations. He enjoyed the space they created. It felt like balance, like partnership. The first year was genuinely easy. Sunday mornings at the farmer's market, coffee in thin paper cups, wandering with no agenda while he talked about his ambitions. And I listened, really listened, because that's what you do when you care. He worked in marketing, I worked in tech. It felt like a normal adult relationship. At 6 months, I cooked dinner for him. Candles on the balcony, city lights stretching behind us, lemon cream pasta made from scratch, because he'd once said it was his favorite. He told me his ex never remembered anniversaries, never tried, never made him feel special. So I did. That night, he leaned on the railing, staring out over the skyline, and said, "God, Pam, you're perfect. I can't believe I found someone who actually shows up." I held on to those words. I didn't realize then that showing up to him didn't mean loving deeply. It meant handling things so he wouldn't have to. Sudden, brutal, the kind of blow that rattles your sense of worth. That's when I became both the version of myself I respect and the version he eventually exploited. I helped him rewrite his resume, ran mock interviews after dinner, stayed awake into the early hours while he spiraled about failing. When rent was short, I covered it without hesitation. When his student loans hit and he panicked, I paid them twice. When he finally found a new job across the city, I rearranged my life so he wouldn't feel isolated. I transferred departments, shifted my schedule, rebuilt routines, because I believed that was what partnership meant. The cracks started showing about 6 months ago. That's when Lena re-entered his life. Technically an ex from years ago. Ancient history according to him. Now she worked on his team. Big projects, long nights, strategy sessions. I understood deadlines. I've lived through enough of them. Then the text started. I wasn't snooping. But when you're sitting next to your boyfriend on the couch and his phone lights up with wifey, your body reacts before logic can catch up. I didn't explode. I waited. Later, while we cooked, I asked lightly who Lena was and why she called him that. He sighed, didn't even look up, said it was a joke, a work thing, then labeled me paranoid, like noticing patterns was a flaw. I let it go. That was my mistake, because the jokes didn't stop, they multiplied. Slowly, so slowly I barely noticed, I became the woman sitting beside her boyfriend while he poured emotional energy into someone else. I told myself I was being mature, that trust meant swallowing discomfort. What I was really teaching him was that my feelings were optional. And once that lesson set in, everything shifted. He stopped hiding the texts. His phone buzzed openly during our Friday movie nights. He'd smile, type long replies, forget I was there. I started feeling like background noise in my own life. The shift seeped into everything. He laughed more, just not with me. I got summaries of his days while I heard him animated on speakerphone with Lena in the other room. Social media followed. Group photos, work events, captions loaded with meaning. Work wifey, couldn't survive without her. People joked about marriage, and Ethan liked every comment. He never corrected them. When I brought it up, he deflected, said it was just social media, said if I posted more maybe people would know. Somehow his emotional affair became my failure to market us. Then came the comparisons. Subtle at first. Lena's spontaneity, her concert tickets, her energy. Each comment small enough to dismiss, heavy enough to bruise. The irony was crushing. I was paying for everything. Rent, utilities, groceries, his insurance when money was tight, the laptop he used, the emergency fund he claimed to be rebuilding with my support. I held him together when his world fell apart. And still, I wasn't enough. The receipt was the turning point. A steakhouse we'd skipped for our anniversary. Dinner for two. A night he said he was working late. I didn't confront him. I kept it as proof for myself. Then confirmation came through casual comments from friends. Sightings. Stories. Always with explanations. Networking, work, industry events. I stayed loyal until the night I overheard the truth through our thin walls. He said I was great, stable, reliable, that I covered everything. Then he said Lena got him, that he wanted both. He was talking to his sister, strategizing. In that moment, everything clarified. I wasn't insecure. I wasn't paranoid. I was convenient. By the time Friday came, I wasn't sad anymore. I was done. The confrontation didn't happen the way I imagined it would. There was no screaming match, no tears on the kitchen floor, no dramatic accusations fired back and forth like weapons. It happened on a random Friday evening, which somehow made it worse. I'd just gotten home from work, mentally exhausted, looking forward to the familiar comfort of takeout and a mindless show. Something normal, something that didn't require emotional effort. Ethan was already there. He wasn't sitting, he was pacing, phone in hand, jaw tight. That look people get when they've rehearsed a speech and are finally ready to deliver it. We need to talk, Pam. That sentence lands differently when you already know the truth. I set my bag down slowly. Okay. He crossed his arms, shifting his weight like I was the one on trial. I've been thinking a lot about us, he began. About this relationship. I waited. It's not working for me anymore. What isn't? I asked, even though I knew this. He gestured vaguely between us. You're stable. You're reliable. You show up. You do everything right. The way he said it made my jaw tighten. But I need more than that, he said. I need passion, excitement, someone who makes me feel alive. There it was. And Lena does that? I asked quietly. His eyes widened for half a second, surprised I'd said her name out loud. Then he recovered. Don't play dumb. You've seen the texts. Yeah, we got close. Really close. We've been seeing each other for a couple of months now. A couple of months. While I paid the rent, while I reassured him, while I believed him. So, you cheated on me, I said. He scoffed. Why do you have to make it sound so dramatic? The spark died a while ago. You became predictable. Predictable? Lena challenges me, he continued. She's spontaneous. She doesn't just play it safe. Every word felt rehearsed, like he'd been practicing justifying himself long before he said anything to me. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I asked the question that mattered. So, what happens now? He exhaled like he'd been waiting for that. Well, I was thinking you could sleep on the couch for a bit. I stared at him. Just until things settle, he added quickly. Lena's coming over in a couple of days so we can clear the air. Make this whole transition less awkward. The audacity hit me so hard, it almost knocked the air out of my lungs. You want me to sit here? I said slowly. While you bring the woman you cheated on me with into my home. He laughed, actually laughed. See, this is exactly why we're not working. You're so uptight. It's not cheating if the relationship was already dead. Dead. Grow up, Pam, he said. Life's too short to waste on mediocrity. That was the word. Mediocrity. The life I built, the safety he leaned on, the stability he used as a backup plan. I nodded. Okay, I said. That surprised him. He blinked. Okay, if that's how you feel. Relief flashed across his face. He grabbed his jacket. I'm staying at my sister's tonight. We'll talk more when I get back. Maybe someday we can all sit down like adults and figure out logistics. He left without looking back. The door clicked shut, and the apartment fell silent. Our apartment, though it had only ever been mine on paper. I stood there for a moment. Then something shifted. The sadness didn't come. Clarity did. He wanted excitement. He wanted chaos. He wanted to keep me in the background while he upgraded his life. But he didn't get to do it in my space. Not on my dime. Not with me as his safety net. I looked around the apartment. Photos on the walls. His clothes in the closet. His toiletries in the bathroom. None of it felt like us anymore. It felt like clutter. And I do my best thinking when I'm calm. So I made a plan. I didn't cry that night. I slept. For the first time in months, my body didn't feel tense. No buzzing anxiety. No waiting for his phone to light up. Just stillness. By morning, the plan was already forming in my head. First call, my friend Jordan. We'd known each other since college. The kind of friend who doesn't ask questions before saying yes. Hey, I said when he answered, I need help moving tomorrow morning. There was a pause. You okay? He cheated. He's bringing her here Sunday. Another pause. Say less. I'll bring a truck. Second call. My landlord. I'd been the sole name on the lease since day one. Ethan moved in a year later. Never officially added. At the time, it felt unnecessary. Now, it felt like foresight. If someone's been staying with me but isn't on the lease and moves out, I asked, do I need to notify you? Nope, he said. Your apartment, your call. Perfect. Then I went digital. I changed every password, streaming services, cloud storage, bank access, everything I paid for, everything he used was suddenly locked. Next came the packing. I started with his things, clothes, shoes, books, electronics, the watch I bought him for his birthday, the headphones he borrowed permanently. I didn't break anything. I didn't throw anything away. I was careful, methodical. Each item that went into a box felt like closing a chapter. I found things I'd forgotten about, a birthday card I'd written him 2 years ago. To the man who makes ordinary days feel exciting. I didn't read it twice. The bathroom was the hardest. His toothbrush, his shampoo, the little signs of shared life that linger longer than memories. By the time I finished, the apartment felt lighter, like it could breathe again. Saturday morning, Jordan showed up with 3 other friends and a truck. We worked fast. 4 hours later, everything was gone. I rented a storage unit across town. First month, prepaid. Consider it my parting gift. By noon, the apartment looked like Ethan had never lived there. I rearranged furniture, took down photos, reclaimed my space. Jordan leaned against the counter when we were done. You good getting there? I said. Sunday afternoon, my phone started vibrating. Ethan, I'm here with Lena. Where are you? Your car isn't here. Pam, this isn't funny. I didn't answer. On the 5th call, I picked up. What's wrong? I asked calmly. Where are you? His voice was sharp. We're at the apartment. Lena took time out of her day to come here. I'm not there. What? I'm at a friend's place. We agreed to talk today. I smiled to myself. You wanted Lena. You got her. But you don't get to parade her through my apartment. Your apartment? He snapped. I live there too. No, I said. You were staying there. Silence. Your things are in storage, I continued. I'll text you the address and access code. First month's paid. After that, it's on you. You can't do this, he said. That's illegal. You ended the relationship, I replied. I'm respecting that. He started yelling, accusations, vindictive, heartless. I hung up, texted him the storage unit details, blocked his number. That night, I sat alone on my couch in my apartment and felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The first thing that surprised me after Ethan left wasn't the loneliness. It was the quiet. No phone buzzing every 5 minutes, no emotional whiplash, no need to constantly prove I was enough. I threw myself into work, volunteered for projects I would have avoided before, stayed late, focused. My manager noticed. You're different lately, Pam, she said during a check-in. In a good way. I started going to the gym before work, not out of revenge, out of release. Heavy weights, long runs, sweat that burned the resentment out of my body. 6 weeks in, I felt stronger. Not just physically, mentally. 2 months later, word filtered back through mutual friends. Things between Ethan and Lena weren't going well. Turns out the spontaneity came with credit card debt. The thrill came with volatility. The woman who challenged him also fought with him loudly, publicly. I didn't respond when people told me. Then the messages started. Unknown numbers, apologies, regret. I made a mistake. You were the best thing in my life. Can we just talk? I blocked every single one. 4 months after the breakup, he showed up at my office lobby. Security handled it. That was the moment I knew he hadn't changed. He just needed a safety net again. 8 months later, I went to Mike's wedding. I almost didn't go. Old circles, shared history, but I was done hiding. I didn't go alone. I went with Daniel. No games, no comparisons, just mutual respect and calm certainty. We'd been dating for 2 months when I asked him to come with me. At the reception, I saw Ethan across the room. He looked smaller, thinner, tired. When Daniel stepped away, Ethan approached. "Pam," he said softly, "you look good." "I am," I replied. He swallowed. "I've been working on myself." "I'm glad." "You were always the one," he said. "I just didn't see it." I looked at him, really looked at him, and felt nothing. "You did see it," I said. "You just thought it would always be there." Daniel returned then, sliding his hand into mine.